Hello, parents and adults who are involved in the lives of children. I'm Susan Adams, and I'm a children's librarian at the Fletcher branch of the Washington County Free Library. Today, I'd like to briefly share with you 4 picture books that are excellent stories that help children understand and empathize just a little bit more with kids who might be different from them. The first story I'd like to tell you about deals with a girl who discovers she has dyslexia. It's called Thank You, Mr. Falker by Patricia Polacco. And this is the cover. It's actually an autobiography of Patricia Polacco's life. And it tells the story of Patricia when she was a little girl. She had some trouble learning how to read as a young child, and this book tells about her frustrations and a variety of things that she dealt with as she tried to learn how to read in a classroom of other kids who were reading very quickly. I thought I would share with you just a quick page or two, and then we'll move on to the next book. In first grade, Tricia sat in a circle with the other kids. They were all holding Our Neighborhood, their first reader. Sounding out letters and words, they said be, oi, boy, and la, look, look. The teacher smiled at them when they put their words and sounds all together and got a word right. But when Tricia looked at a page, all she saw were wiggling shapes. And when she tried to sound out words, the other kids laughed at her. Tricia, what are you looking at in that book? They'd say. I'm reading, she'd say back to them. But her teacher would move on to the next person. Always when it was her turn to read, her teacher had to help her with every single word. And while other kids kept moving up in the second reader and the third reader, she stayed alone in Our Neighborhood. Tricia began to feel different. She began to feel dumb. Thank You, Mr. Falker is an awesome story, a heartwarming story of a teacher that really took an interest in Patricia and just went the extra mile to really work with her after hours, along with another professional. And it's a terrific story of how Patricia learned to deal with her dyslexia, and I think your kids would really enjoy it. The next story I have to share with you is called You Can Be a Friend by Tony and Lauren Dungy. Some of you may recognize that Tony Dungy was a former NFL football coach for the Indianapolis Colts. And this is the story. This is the cover once again. This is a story of a family who gets new neighbors and is surprised to see that one of their kids uses a wheelchair. As the book begins, Jade and her 2 brothers go over to meet the new family with their mom. They're there to welcome them to the neighborhood. That's when they meet Hannah, their new neighbor, who looks to be really close to Jade's age. As the book progresses, they find out, amongst other things, that Hannah really likes to go bowling, and she is really pretty good at it. I will just show you a quick page of when they go bowling together. Then, let's see, later in the story, there's a section where Jade is talking about her birthday party that is coming up really soon. And I'm just going to read to you 2 pages just so you can get a little flavor of what the book is like. A few nights later, her older brother Eric heard Jade and Jordan arguing. Jordan saw him and called out to him, "Eric, can you answer a question for us?" "Sure, what's up, Jay?" Jade can't decide if she should invite Hannah to her birthday party next week. "Isn't that Hannah the new girl across the street?" They nodded. Eric looked at Jade. "Haven't you been spending a lot of time with her lately?" "Yes," Jade said, but I've been planning my birthday at the water park forever. And if I invite Hannah, Jade paused then and said, she'll either be by herself some of the time, or I will have to stay with her, and you're afraid that if you invite her, you won't be able to go on the big slides, to surfboard, or to go on the diving boards. Eric knew that Jade loved to do all of those things, but wouldn't want to leave anybody out. You're really asking if it's more important to have fun at your party or to be with your friends, Eric said. I can't answer that, Jade. Only you can. I know. I've been thinking about it all week, Jade said. Eric paused and stared at his brother and sister, saying, one more thing. They looked up at him, a bit worried. You're being way too serious. Eric jumped on the bed and began tickling and wrestling his brother and sister. So as the book continues, Hannah has a great conversation the next morning with her parents about what to do with her birthday party coming up and kind of her dilemma as to where to have it. And so they make a great compromise. And in the end, Jade is able to invite Hannah to come as well. She picks a place where Hannah would be comfortable and that would be accessible for Hannah as well. And so this story was just fabulous. I can't say enough good things about it. It's just a great story for parents who would really like to kind of continue teaching their children that it's good to include people that might be a little bit different from them in their daily lives. My third book is called A Boy and a Jaguar, and it is by Alan Rabinowitz and illustrated by Katia Chien. This is a story about a boy who discovers that he is a stutterer, and he has quite a hard time with things at the beginning. But he does find that he can do several things really well without stuttering. And I would love to read you just a couple of pages of this book. But I can do two things well without stuttering. One is sing, only I can't sing so well. And the other is talk to animals. Every day I come home from class and go straight to the closet in my room. I bring out my pets, a hamster, a gerbil, a green turtle, a chameleon, and a garter snake. I close the door and talk to them without stuttering. This story goes on to tell a little bit more about this boy who really comes alive with animals, and he actually grows up and decides that he would like to be a champion of helping to save the jaguars. And I'd love to read to you the last little bit that's inside the final cover of this. It's a little bit about the author and the boy that the story is speaking about. Alan Rabinowitz has dedicated his life to wildlife conservation. A zoologist and conservationist, he is a president and CEO of Panthera, a nonprofit organization devoted to protecting the world's 36 wildcat species. He has written numerous scientific articles and books and been profiled in the New York Times, Scientific American, Audubon, Outside, and a number of others. Dr. Rabinowitz is also an advocate for stutterers and a spokesperson for the Stuttering Foundation of America. He has told audiences, it says, that he feels lucky to have been given the gift of stuttering and believes that if he had not stuttered at all, he would not be put on the path of his passion, saving big cats. So this book was just fantastic as well. And it's just a great story of the journey that this young boy goes on. And it's just wonderful to see how he kind of champions something that has been a real sticking point for him. And he goes on to do great things. So I highly recommend this book as well, A Boy and a Jaguar. The last and final book that I have to share with you today is a book called My Brother Sammy is Special, and it's by Becky Edwards and David Armitage. And here is the cover. This story is told by a boy who has a brother with autism. He talks about things like how his brother goes to a different school and he doesn't always like playing with he and his friends. But in spite of many of their differences, they still manage to make some great connections. And I have a portion of this I'd like to read to you. And sometimes when we go to the park, I don't play with my friends. I just lie in the green grass with Sammy instead, and we watch the sunshine shimmering on the leaves of the trees. Then we both smile because it's beautiful in a shimmering sort of way. And here are the illustrations that go with that page. They're really pretty beautiful. I think this book gives the readers a great opportunity to get a glimpse into the world of a family that has an autistic child and perhaps develop a greater empathy for kids who are different from themselves. I hope you found this video helpful to you and that you'll consider exploring these books with the children in your lives. Thank you so much for watching.